This week I'm driving Ford's Puma. Puma may be small, but it really is packed with lots of stuff. The digital dash, I think, in this is a little bit better than the one that we had last week in the Mustang. Indicators are on the correct side, which I like a lot. One of the many things that this is really good at is navigating a city environment. There's a spot up here that I can see, so I'm going to press the parking button. I've indicated up here and it automatically defaults to a parking spot over here on the parallel. Oh, it's telling me to stop. Actually, I want this one. So let's just see. Okay, I wanted the next one. It had found one before, so that means it's kind of always measuring beyond a certain speed, which is good. I'm just going to let the wheel go. And I'm traveling at a fair old clip. I mean, this spot I'd be able to get myself into. No problem at all. But that's going to tell me to go forward, straighten up a little bit, and then you can just stop. Now, Puma is a little 1 litre 3-cylinder SUV. It's a suburban car with this distinctive front end. It's a little bit cutesy-pie, and I can cope with that. Of course, it's got several models, including the ST line, which has these extra wheels. And of course, this is the V, which is the even better topper model. There's only 3. It's got these little ridges for the automatic locking. And there are some options as well. There's the sunroof, and I'll put a list of those options up on the back. Now, the best thing about this is that it's got an electric tailgate. And one of the things I particularly like is the button is on the kind of outer surface. Now inside, there's plenty of space. There's some 60/40 split seats. There's a little hook here for your bag, a 12-volt outlet, and the headrests, of course, are all sitting flat against the top of the seats, which I think is really important. There's the obligatory light and a flat floor, and it's a little spot here to stop your oranges from falling out. If you lift this, you'll find there's a big space underneath, but if you bring it all the way forward and then push it all the way back, you'll see that you get all of that extra space that you can use. Yes, that means the seats aren't flat when they're folded, but I can live with that. One problem that I did have was that the parking camera is right at the very bottom of the tailgate, and with all the really bad wet weather we've been having, that has been getting really schmutzy. The back seat is snug, not gonna lie. Not a whole lot of knee room, and the back of the seats are sculpted out to give you just that little bit extra. And you'll notice the sunroof extends all the way back with just this bar on the top. The rear section has this kind of netting over it. The upholstery is beautifully detailed. There's lots of scratchy plastic about, but remember, this is just an entry-level car. It just doesn't have an entry-level price. But it's the front where everybody wants to be. Now, to get out, you press the button again and tell it you want to exit. Indicate, okay. It's telling me to select reverse, go back. Now I know there's a bar behind me which it hasn't seen. Oh yes, it has. Now it's steered out, and it's also telling me to take control because it knows that there's more than enough space for me to get out. And off I go. I think that's pretty good. There's a couple of clever features too. In addition to that, if you just touch the lumbar support, on this car it's electric, and it brings up a little menu here including massage. It's not a very sophisticated massage, it's just operating the lumbar support, kind of rolling it up your back. Though, I'd rather have it off. Around town is where this car's going to be used most, but the ride is surprisingly good, considering that this is not a very long wheelbase, it's not a very big car, doesn't weigh very much. You'd think the 3-cylinder engine might be a bit insipid, but it's not. Hey Siri, take me to Ford.
Okay, here's what I found.
And it's brought me up to where I'm going, which is quite surprising. I'm going to press go. It's now brought it up on my 8-inch screen. Little bit mean, but it does the job. I'd like to see it just a little bit bigger. There's certainly the room for it. Now, I can't demonstrate it while we're on the road because YouTube will have a fit, but this has got the B&O sound system. Now, B&O, remember, is not the same B&O that you have at home. It is Bang & Olufsen, but several years ago, the car part of Bang & Olufsen was sold off to the Harman Group, so along with Harman Kardon and JBL and so forth. The sound in this is nothing short of stupendous. I don't normally make much of the sound system in cars because mostly they're not worth talking about. But this is, honestly, it's just astounding. And this transmission, not among my favourites. Some people like DCTs or DSGs or dual clutch anyway, transmissions. Some people don't. They do give you very fast changes, but both Ford and Volkswagen have trouble with their dry clutch versions. As we go into this little mini tunnel, you can see the car light up. It's got a little bit of ambient lighting, which makes it look a little bit special. I just think it's lovely, and it's a really nice shade of blue too. Some of the shades of blue, like General Motors used to have, were just nasty. Didn't like it at all. Now we're back outside again. Try a different drive mode. Comes up in a nice little graphic on the screen. Now I've got it in sport. The DCT kicked back a little notch, and this feels much perkier. This is like a little terrier, like a little eager to please terrier. One of the things that Ford said in the bump was that this 92 kilowatt engine got 5 point something litres per 100 kilometres. I'm getting 6.7. It's also got assistance like automated steering, lane departure, and active lane centering. Now the latter only operates when you turn the active cruise control on. We're in the Sydney Harbour Tunnel now, so there's water above me. And I've got the active lane control on. I've got the active cruise control on. So the car's doing all of this itself. It's keeping me a distance from the car in front as well as steering me in the lines. I get a little graphic here when it detects a car in the front. And in normal mode, it's an old Falcon. In sport mode, it's a Mustang. In trail mode, in trail mode, I get what looks like an F-150. I like it. I like it a lot. That is so camp. One thing I like is that the cabin is laid out so thoughtfully. Everything is exactly where I can find it and reach it easily. The area where I plug the Navman dash cam in is a little bit cluttered, and there is a wireless charger, and all of this is soft. And there's a little bit of fancy mock carbon fibre. It looks really, really good. I tell you what, with the audio system off, it's so quiet in here. Now to the controls on the steering wheel. Nice and easy to use, laid out like any other Ford. Across the bottom are the audio controls. So that's a little bit unusual. Volkswagen does that too. And there's the voice button, which you don't need to press to use Siri. You just say, "Hey Siri." I saw a statistic recently that said that the active lane control and lane departure systems have made those kind of crashes 30% less likely. 30% less likely. For the last week, of course, Sydney has been battered by absolutely appalling weather, all down the east coast of Australia, in fact. But what it's shown me is that this car, in really bad weather, felt very safe. It feels very, very secure on the road. That, by the way, is why I didn't do the normal outside bit in the car, because I've been dodging this all day. Wow, that is really bucketing down. I am paying a lot of attention to what's going on up front, simply because all of these driver aids are not meant to replace good and careful driving and a driver keeping his attention on what's going on out front. I would happily own one of these cars and drive it a long distance. That's all this week for Ford's Puma. As always, hit like, leave a comment, and just there to subscribe.